Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you can hear me. Is this microphone on? That's the usual line. I've really just been asked to pop up here and introduce HireServe before handing over to Alison. Just for those who don't know, my name is Jeremy Ovenden, and I'm the founder and managing director of HireServe. We're a plus 20-year-old ATS provider, been at it for all those years. Just like every other ATS provider, probably haven't perfected it all just yet, but continue to develop the product so that we can continue to meet the evolving needs of organizations such as yours. You regard the product nowadays as being, your ATS as being kind of like a heart of everything you do. So you may be running assessments, video interviewing, onboarding activities, social media campaigns. What you really want to be able to do is control all of that from a central place and never have recruiters need to log into other systems. That's our kind of basic mantra for how we develop solutions. It is putting the ATS at the heart so that everybody who needs to do any recruitment work in a system does it in one place. That's the guiding principle. So I'm not going to give you a big hard product sell. I have no slides. We just have a nice friendship slide, which is the way that we are or like to be with our customers. Back in the 1980s, you might remember, for those of you who are of a similar generation to me, there used to be a TV advertisement, which was Lloyd's TSB, was it, the bank that likes to say yes? We like to regard ourselves as the ATS that likes to say yes to the diverse and unpredictable requests that come from customers with often 11th hour timing. I know you're not here for a product pitch. You don't want to hear me any longer, which is quite natural. That's the way most people who sit in rooms like this feel, hence why I only get given about 90 seconds. You're here for real stories, and Alison here from Lincolnshire County Council has a really great story to tell you, so I shall hand over to Alison. Continue.
Thank you, Jeremy. Okay. So I was asked to come here today to talk to you about how to embed technological change and ignite a cultural shift. Now, we've heard lots of great stories this morning about lots of different systems or what they do, how fabulous they are, but how do you get your people to use them? And just before we move on, technology is everywhere. Digital change is absolutely everywhere. Did you know that your household appliances now, like your fridge, freezers and your washing machines, you can control them with your mobile phone? Well, I didn't till I went to buy a washing machine a couple of weeks ago. Amazing, absolutely amazing. And the technology for recruitment is also absolutely amazing. But what I think you have to remember is it's not just about the technology, it's about the people that are using it. So Lincolnshire County Council, we have just under 4,500 employments, just under 4,000 FTE. We have 298 self-serving managers, and we've placed just over 700 corporate ads in the last year. We've processed nearly 12,000 application forms and invited just over 3,000 candidates to interview. And we have done all that through our ATS system. So our journey. What we wanted to do was we needed to free up time. We need to start to look at ways where we can engage better with our candidates, to do better candidate searches and find the talent that's becoming more and more difficult to source. So what we decided to do was work in partnership with Jeremy and the team to look at really what could our ATS system do, how could we use it to the best of its ability to free up our resourcing advisors to do that value-added stuff. And the outcome of that was we made our hiring managers self-serve. So our hiring managers now go in, they put their own job on. When the job closes, they now look at their own application forms. When that's finished, candidates invite themselves to interview. And then once they've interviewed the candidates, they then decide through the system who they want to make that offer to. And that all happens in the system. We don't get involved anymore. Managers do it. So what that means to us is that we can do all that extensive research, looking at the market, where are our candidates, using social media, moving things on through that way. But it's all about change and taking people through that change to get them from a point where their resourcing team did it all. We did it all. We gave them the application forms at the end of the day, and they come back and said, I want this one, and then we did the next bit. So when you look at change, there's three phases. When it comes to people, there's three phases of change. Current state, where everybody's nice and happy because that's what you know, that's the stuff that you do every day, and everybody's comfortable because they know how to do it. Transition state, this is when people really, really start to worry because the unknown starts to come in. What's that going to mean to me? There are going to be job losses. What change? What are they going to expect me to do now? And the future state's that unknown bit. It's the bit where, will this work? So, looking at all three of these, what we did is we engaged with our hiring managers, and we also engaged with our heads of service and directors. And we went out to the directors and we said, what keeps you awake at night? When it comes to HR, what is it that keeps you awake? What's your biggest worry? And they all said recruitment. Getting that talent, getting the right people in the right place at the right time was their biggest worry at night. We then spoke to our hiring managers and said, we want to do this, are you on board? We held a series of workshops, and in those workshops we listened to what they wanted, what they expected from the system, what they wanted it to do, what they didn't want it to do, and their thoughts about how it would move forward. So by the time we came to start to work with HireServe, we knew what we wanted, we knew how we wanted the system to look. And the guys were great, they listened to us, they helped us, things weren't quite right, so we changed something else. And the future state, our state as it is now, is that we have all these managers self-serving quite happily. Most of them anyway. 3 phases of change from a technology perspective, and that slide is really interesting because when I was looking for a graphic to put in, I couldn't find one about technology, so I had to stick post-it notes on the wall and take a picture. And given that we are now a paperless office as well, we don't have any paper in our recruitment process, don't have any spreadsheets, everything's done through the system, everything goes out through the system, comes back in through the system. Prepare, make sure you know what you want, that comes back to your stakeholder engagement, it comes from exploring the market. Manage your expectations, manage your customers' expectations, make sure you stay in touch with them throughout the whole process. Because if you don't, what will happen is they'll have fed back all their feedback and they'll be expecting X at the end of the day and suddenly you present them with Y, and all that does is it disengages them and they don't want to use it. So make sure that you continually take them on that journey with you. Once your system's in and it's up and running, you need to constantly reinforce the change that you've made. You need to celebrate, as we've heard today, about the success that's came, about the success that's happened, case studies, and make sure that you sell all your good news stories, because when you do that, people want to engage, people want to be involved, and we're now at the point where we're going to look at another stage. We're going to go a step further and look at the next suite of changes. So what's now happened, we've went out to managers, we've said we're ready to take the next step, and I've got loads of managers coming back to me saying, Alison, I want to be involved, I want to help shape it, I'm really interested in this. And that's a long way from where we were the first time round, when we had to drag them with us. So that's really, really good news. In every organisation, you have blockers. Individual and organisational blockers. So your individuals, they all say, I don't want to change. Why do we need to change? It works the way it is. Well, then they work to rule, then they work slow. And it's about working with those people to get them to see the benefits and move them on and move them through. Organisational, that can range from anything from cost, because obviously there's a cost involved to putting all this change in. It doesn't, be that whether cashable or non-cashable costs, staff time. Because when your staff are putting all these changes in place, what they're not doing is focusing on the work that they were doing. But it's a little bit about, you know, you've got to accumulate to speculate. You've got to put something in to get something out. Change has been around for a very long time. A very long time. Charles Darwin, over 200 years ago, said that quote. And I think that today, given the amount of technology that there is today, it's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. It's just as apt then as it is today. county council, being a public sector organisation, it can be really difficult to drive change because we don't have a lot of money. It's a public purse that we've got to spend. You know, and we're really lucky that we've worked with guys at Higher Serve who have done, you know, an excellent job in taking what we've got and turning it into something that we consider really, really special. And it's interesting to hear today all of you guys, all your thoughts and, you know, where you want to be moving forward. And all I would say to you is change isn't easy. Good change isn't easy. Good change is really, really hard. But you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in what you're doing. And you've got to make it want to happen. And if you remember those principles, then the world's your oyster, as long as you believe in what you're doing.